Oh, happy Monday, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down the action so far in week number 8. A lot of shocking results in week number 8. We're going to talk about all of them here on today's show. I'm David Huffman, right there, my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins, and from the dailyblitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. Please like, share, subscribe to the podcast as we bring you guys basically daily content for you guys to sink your teeth into. And how are you guys, gentlemen? Happy Monday. Happy Halloween week also.
What's up? All good. Mm-hmm.
Let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. Let's talk about week number 8. Let's start with Thursday night football. We got the Vikings going into beautiful SoFi Stadium and eating their second loss of the season, 30-20. Yes, there was a controversial call at the very end of this game that basically put the death nail in the Minnesota Vikings. Was clearly a face mask, was not called. Can't allow this in the NFL anymore. Anyways, the Rams, on the Rams side of this, Matthew Stafford got all of his weapons back, and this offense was humming in this game. 25 of 34, 279 yards, 4 tutties, and a pick. Kyron Williams almost to the century mark with 97 yards rushing. Puka Nacua returned off IR, 7 for 106. Cooper Kupp got a touchdown. Demarcus Robinson had 2 touchdowns. And Kyron Williams had a touchdown as well. On the other side, Sam Darnold, pretty efficient day at the office, but just couldn't get over the hump there. 18-25, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 19 carries for 58 yards. Justin Jefferson over the century mark. Josh Oliver and Trent Sherfield Jr., the former Buffalo Bill, got into the end zone for the Minnesota Vikings as they lose this game 30-20.
Yeah, I don't think anyone cares about the game. That face mask call is pretty much all that anyone could talk about. And to make matters worse, this was the same officiating crew that missed that pass interference call in the Falcons Kansas City Chiefs game. Same crew, opposite end zones. Yeah, you can't. David, you said you can't have that. It takes the focus completely away from what was a good game.
And not to mention, this is a good win for the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, they had a season like kind of slipping away on them to get this win and move to 3-4, right in the thick of things in the NFC West. But to have that call, like they may have won the game anyways, even if they give them the 15 yards. I mean, Minnesota would have had to score a touchdown on that drive, but
we'll never know.
We'll never know because the game was ruined. The outcome is tainted a little bit.
Puka Nacua actually had a good game in his comeback. So did Cooper Kupp, but no one's talking about it because of a missed face mask call. That's right in your face, like that. Them be the worst calls. Bro, I know holding gets missed a lot. Holding's probably the most missed call in all of football. But when it's right in your face,
not to mention, so like
it's horrible.
They have like replay assist on other stuff. Like, how is replay assist not a factor on a play like this? It doesn't like they replay assist will move the football forward for a first down. Replay assist will call a play an incompletion, but replay assist just turned a blind eye to this play. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. It just ruins what was a fantastic game.
Because you can't overturn it though. I mean, you can't overturn a call that wasn't called.
You know but replay assist is able to change calls. We see it all the time. We see that like they respot balls because of replay assist. You see that they make changes.
That's that, but not on a penalty though. I've never
replay assist should be able to help when it's something that obviously egregious. Replay assist should be like, hey, yo,
that's what David's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying it wasn't egregious. I'm saying like we only see replay assist on like if the guy didn't catch the ball, if his foot was out of bounds, something like that.
But those are all game-changing plays. This is a game-changing play. Like, if there ever is a moment for replay assist to step in, this is one of them.
I agree. I'm not
and on top of that, the player who committed the face mask, he knew he messed up.
Yeah, he's looking at his face after
that's worse. That's almost. I said it. That's almost as bad as the the phantom face mask call on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
In
against
the
the Lions a
Detroit
few years
game.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's almost as bad as that. And like it's like you're literally right there. Are you do we need to get you some new glasses, some new contacts? Because how do you
Like
not see that play? If I could see it from my TV, if I can see it from my couch,
I mean, they
I
got to
know for
stand
sure
right
it's there.
there.
You can
He's
see
standing
it.
I
right
say,
there.
I
He's
say
standing
that
right
all.
there.
I say that all the time. Like if we can see that shit at home, like how do we see it at home versus and you have a better view angle than we ever will have. How do we see it at home and you don't? Like and you just don't call it. Like
Yeah.
again, it's a bad look because again, no one talked about the game. No one talked about the game. Like for like the
Hey, I
Thursday,
bet these.
Friday, no one
I,
talked about the game.
I
They
bet
talked
these.
about that call.
I always say this about. I say this about players. Look, with refs, I feel like, hey, once they start like legit finding these dudes, like, hey, we taking a game like a percentage of your game check away, for missing that call, just you. Then they'll start making then they'll start making the right calls and the correct
I
calls
think
and
that, but
start
there's
paying
a much
attention to
easier
detail.
solution to this. I mean, referees are human beings. They're gonna miss a call here and there like that. It happens.
No, but David, that's ridiculous. Missing that's ridiculous.
Let me finish.
Okay,
Like,
go ahead.
so I'm not talking about this play specifically. Like, referees are human beings. They're gonna miss a play here and there. They just won't be looking at something. Then they'll miss it. But like the NFL has used replay assist for other stuff, and like when something like this happens, like this is for all any kind of like stuff like this, like where it's a questionable call. Replay assist has the ability to step in and get those calls right. There's no reason in 2024 that referee like human error, like judgment errors should be allowed when it comes to calls that are as black and white as they come. There's no gray area here. Like it was a face mask. It's obvious. Step in, fix it.
Right.
But yeah, moving on. And we basically spent the first 5 minutes of the show talking about that call and nothing about the action on the field. It's just depressing. Chris, you want to weigh in real quick before we move on?
Oh, I thought you forgot me. Like, what am I, chopped fucking liver?
I didn't forget you.
Yeah. Okay. Next game.
Moving
There you go,
on, bringing it into the Sunday afternoon window. First game on the slate there. The Philadelphia Eagles moved to 5-2 as they handily dispatch of the Cincinnati Bengals in the Bengals' house, 37-17. Jalen Hurts super efficient in this game, accounted for 4 touchdowns, 1 in the air, 3 on the ground. Saquon Barkley goes over the century mark again in this game. Devontae Smith, 6 for 85 and a touchdown. A.J. Brown at 84 yards. On the other side, a tough day at the office for Cincinnati, and this may be the end of their season as in 2024 as they fall to 3-5 and looking up at the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens in their own division. 26-37 for Joe Burrow, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. TJ's guy Chase Brown gets into the end zone on a running play. Jamar Chase had the lone receiving touchdown for the Bengals as they fall to the Eagles at home.
Zach Taylor gotta go.
Wait, what he said?
Zach Taylor has to go.
Oh, yeah. I think it's time. But I want to say this about the Eagles. I think this was their best all-around game of the year, David. Did it on offense. Offensive line held up pretty well. And defensively, they got off the field on 3rd down. I thought that was a problem as well. They put this game away early. They kept their foot on the gas. That was something they really weren't doing. And they're a quiet, 5-2, 6-2 now?
5-2.
5-3. Yeah, they're a quiet 5-2. If you ask me, I mean, that pass that Jalen Hurts threw to Devontae Smith, that may be the best pass I've seen him make as a pro.
It was for sure an FDR.
Yeah. But other than that, you just look, the Bengals have regressed in so many ways. Yeah, I know they went to that Super Bowl in 2021. I know they made that AFC Championship game a year later. But how has this team climbed the ladder since then? They haven't. The offensive line is still bad. The like I said at the beginning of the season, that Jamar Chase situation, that's a distraction, whether they want to admit it or not. They can't run the football. I bet you Joe Mixon would cover up a lot of these problems for the Bengals. And defensively, They don't scare me like they did all those years ago.
It's kind of the stuff that TJ talks about all the time with Cincinnati just being this really cheap organization. Like they let key pieces of this defense walk after they made the Super Bowl. Jesse Bates is no longer on this team.
Right.
The other safety I know is back now that they let walk, but like they just let key pieces of this defense leave. Tyler Boyd is no longer on this team, like one of those veterans that kind of was part of the changing of the guard for the Cincinnati Bengals. This team just kind of looks lost, and I think this is going to be. You're probably right, TJ. Zach Taylor probably got to go.
And not on top of that, it's the slow starts. Like you were terrible the month of September. Like you get up to these slow starts, and then you just magically expect Joe Burrow to flip the switch, and the Bengals are going to start winning games again. And woo. Like no, you can't do that. You can't keep waiting for that to happen. And I know what people saying, like 2 out of the 4 seasons. They went to the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl, and they won nothing. They didn't win it. Like, we got to stop these.
They don't necessarily give trophies for. I know they do actually give a trophy for the AFC title, like winning the AFC, but it doesn't really count. It's not something you put on your resume.
Like, it means absolutely nothing. Like these slow starts and losing yesterday. Like, bro, like I don't know what more. I don't know what more the Bengals have to see. Like, hey, this ain't it. They got to. Changes got to be made. Izzy's gone for a minute.
I'll say this: if they do decide to part ways with Zach Taylor, you know who I see them going after as their head coach?
Bill Belichick.
Joe Brady.
Oh, I see that too.
Moving on to staying sort of in the AFC North, and one of the more shocking results of the weekend as the Cleveland Browns get their second win of the season in the Jameis Winston era of Cleveland Brown football as they beat Baltimore, who was coming in hot, winners of 4 straight. Baltimore, they beat them 29-24. Lamar Jackson, not as efficient as he has been as the last couple of weeks. 15 incompletions was his more than he may have thrown the last 2 weeks combined. 2 touchdowns for him through the air. Derrick Henry continues to be the leading rusher in the NFL. He gets a touchdown in this game. And Nelson Aguilar and Mark Andrews, which is 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks for Mark Andrews on the Ravens side. On the other side, Jameis Winston, 27-41, 334 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Cleveland Browns got over 20 points for the first time this season. Nick Chubb, 16 for 52. Cedric Tillman had 2 touchdowns in this game, and so did David Njoku.
Kyle Hamilton probably on the jugs machine right now catching the ball.
Yeah.
Like there's a phrase that we receivers used to say about the DBs. Like a ball hit the DB in the hand and he drop it, and we used to say that's why you a DB. that's why you a DB and not a receiver, because you dropping the ball. But Kyle Hamilton is probably like no one feels worse about that loss than him probably. Because that was the game. That was the game. Like you catch that, game's over. You knee it out, go home, drive home safely. You're 6-2? Yeah, you're 6-2. Instead, you drop that. The very next play, Jameis throws the game-winning touchdown. And for what it's worth, like Baltimore, you had a shot at the end. You didn't anticipate 2 of your receivers running into each other to that back corner where Lamar was throwing the ball.
Man, first of all, let me shout out to Jameis Winston. I watched this whole game. Jameis Winston was amazing in this game. They play with a whole different energy. I think they haven't had, Joe Flacco was the last one to throw, I think, for 300 yards or something like that. They haven't thrown for 300 yards all season. Jameis Winston comes right in there. The offense looks totally different than what it was. The defense even played with a pep in their step. And they did a great job at containing Lamar Jackson. Now, here's one thing. I gotta give an F grade to the Baltimore Ravens wide receivers. They weren't helping Lamar Jackson out at all. I'm talking about he threw one pass where it just bounced right off of Rashad Bateman. He lost his footing. He was looking back into the sun, and it just came clunked right off his face mask. That's a big play. That's one of the plays that I couldn't hear TJ talking, but I'm sure he was talking about plays that were big in the game. Not that one. Well, that was enough. That was a big one that they could have probably put some points on the board. In that regard. But like I said, hey,
Baltimore just played a little soft in this game. They weren't getting after
I mean, you
Jameis
think
Winston.
you give Derrick Henry more than 11 carries? I mean,
Exactly. That's another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically been carrying your offense through this 4-game winning streak. You only give him 11 carries in this game. I don't get it.
If you watch the game, David, they were doing a lot of RPO stuff with Lamar Jackson. They were doing a lot of read option with Lamar Jackson, letting Lamar Jackson keep the football instead of just put Lamar Jackson under center and give Derrick Henry the ball, especially like in the fourth quarter. He just wasn't. They weren't wearing the Browns down to the point where the Browns were like, "Oh my God, this big 6'3". I mean, he had one collision where he ran into JOK from the Browns and literally took him out with his shoulder. Like, did you guys see that play? Like that's how much.
I think JOK is still in the hospital, so hopefully that situation.
Yeah, hopefully that situation's all right. But I mean, that's how much power Derrick Henry
last
had.
Last I heard, he had movement in both of his extremities. So
yeah, that's how much power. That's how much power Derrick Henry has, just lowering his shoulder on you. So it's giving him, like David said, not giving him the football throughout the game. He needs to get the ball 20 times. We're reverting back to that game that we reverted back to. What, 4 or 5 games ago, right? Christian, where we talked about it.
Yeah, Izzy. And look, I want to say this from the Cleveland perspective. Let's just say, I said this on Twitter yesterday when I was working. Let's just say they decide to bench Deshaun Watson before the injury happens. And who knows where this offense goes? Who knows what they're capable of doing earlier on? And I see David right there shaking his head and agreeing. But I want to kind of elaborate on what Izzy just said about the Baltimore Ravens. When they play like this is the reason why I can't take them seriously, and I can't put them in the driver's seat in the AFC. They have all the potential in the world, especially with how they were playing the last couple of weeks, running the football. Derrick Henry being your bell cow. He can't make an impact touching the ball 11 times. He needs between 19 to 26 carries. I tell Izzy this all the time. You give him that amount of carries, maybe even between 20 to 26. You give him that many carries, the Ravens are going to be in good shape. They look soft, like Izzy said. And the Ravens showed yesterday why they have one of the 2 worst pass defenses in the National Football League. They gave up big play after big play. Why there wasn't a safety in the back end on Cedric Tillman is beyond me. You see him creeping up in the box. He should have stayed back.
Yeah.
Speaking of big plays, the Detroit Lions basically just housed the Tennessee Titans at Ford Field as they put up a half a century in this game on the Tennessee Titans. The Lions might be the best team in the NFL. Let's be real. I know it was against the Tennessee Titans, but this offense was humming in this game as they scored 52 points in the rout of the Tennessee Titans. Mason Rudolph got the start again through another terrible interception that went for a house call. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Mason Rudolph also had a rushing touchdown. As this game was semi-competitive, at least in the first quarter, before it turned into an absolute landslide. Calvin Ridley, 10 for 143. Nick Westbrook-Akine, 1 touchdown for him. On the other side, Jared Goff had as many incompletions as he had touchdown passes. Only had to throw for 85 yards while doing it. Just crazy stats. And like Jahmyr Gibbs, 11.5 yards per clip. Dave Montgomery had a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs had a touchdown. By the way, the Lions, when both those 2 guys scored touchdowns, the Lions are undefeated in those games. And then
Montgomery had a passing touchdown.
Yeah, he did. Sam Laporta, Khalif Raymond, Brock Wright, Amon-Ra St. Brown all had receiving touchdowns. And Khalif Raymond also had a punt and I think a kick return in this game as they were just cooking on offense in this game as Detroit handles business against the Titans.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, David. I think this is the best team in the National Football League from what I've seen because they beat you in a plethora of different ways. Ground and pound, dominate up front with the offensive line, viciously attack, dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Jared Goff is the most efficient passer in the league right now. I mean, what he's done these last, 4 or 5 games, this is the best I think I've ever seen him look. But
I mean, he's thrown 13 incompletions in 4 weeks.
That's crazy.
Like
that's crazy. That's unheard of. And they don't play down the competition. When they want to push you away, they keep their foot on the gas. Look at what they did against Dallas. And I mean, look, they dismembered the Titans. See what I did there?
I like it.
Yeah.
Anybody got any other thoughts on this game before we move on?
No thoughts. This game.
Moving on into the AFC, we got the Arizona, or I don't know, the NFC and AFC battle here. Arizona Cardinals kind of sneaking a victory away from the Miami Dolphins as Tua Tagovailoa has his return spoiled by Kyler Murray and Maserati Marv. Kyler Murray, 26 of 36, 307 yards and 2 touchdowns. James Conner had a rushing touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a touchdown. Michael Wilson had a touchdown. On the other side, good to see Tua Tagovailoa back on the football field and sliding, which was big. They got a big ovation out of the fans when he did slide on that rushing play early in the game.
Jesus Christ.
But 28 of 38, 234 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert had 2 rushing touchdowns in this game as Devon Achane caught the lone receiving touchdown for Miami as they go on to lose to the Arizona Cardinals 28-27.
Yeah, if you're the Dolphins, you got to win that game.
Yeah, there's no excuse. They let Arizona hang around. Arizona took advantage of it. Yeah, the Cardinals, I think they're a lot better than people give them credit for. They play tough. They hang around. Jonathan Gannon has coached a team of fighters.
I mean, you're down 9. You're about 9 in the fourth quarter. I mean, if against a team like Miami, you think you're going to lose that game. Not this Arizona Cardinals team. You're down from San Francisco a couple weeks ago. You win that game too. Like, they've just done a good job of just hanging around in games they have no business winning. And Chad Ryland back-to-back weeks with a game-winning field goal. As the game before, like, they just hung around with the Chargers too and like pulled that victory out of their hat.
Yeah. If you're the Dolphins, I say if you're the Dolphins, you got to win this one. I don't know if Mike McDaniel's seat is hot, but it should be getting pretty warm down there. He's had some questionable L's, some questionable decision making, and I understand 201 there. That's not your fault. That's on the GM fault for not giving you adequate backups, but. At the same time, like furniture movement might be coming in Miami, and don't be surprised if it happened.
Is he?
Man, great win for the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, that's all I have to say because they went on the road, won, against a defense that's pretty. In my underestimation, they're about a top 12 unit. I mean, solid defense.
I mean, their defense hasn't been a top 12 unit this year. I mean, it's been probably like bottom 12.
Top 15. Is it bottom 12? Well, they should be a top. The way that with all the guys they got on that damn team, they should be a top 12 unit. But 2 good wins back to back, going up against the Chargers and the Dolphins. This is a team that we kind of wrote off a little bit.
I think they've won 3 games in a
row.
They
lost to the Packers.
Oh,
they
yeah.
lost to the Packers, yeah. But yeah, no, 3 out of 4. This team, and then the next one they're going against the Bears. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, this team's got a little bit of momentum going into next week. So
speaking of a team that does not have any momentum, the New York Jets go into Foxborough, and the ghost of Bill Belichick got them again. 25-22 as the Patriots win this game, and now both of these teams are 2-6 going into the week number 9. And nobody thought that the New York Jets and the New England Patriots were going to have the same record at this point in the season. At any point, Aaron Rodgers, 17-28, 233 yards and 2 touchdowns. Breece Hall, 16 of 80. Garrett Wilson, 5 catches for 113 yards. Tyler Conklin had a receiving touchdown. So did Xavier Gibson. On the other side, Jacoby Brissett came in after Drake May got injured in the first quarter. A little bit of a neck injury for Drake May. I did not know how the severity of that injury. But Jacoby Brissett came in, was efficient. 15-24, 132 yards. Drake May also had a rushing touchdown before he left the game. Ramondre Stevenson had 2 touchdowns in this game. And Keyshawn Boutte, 3 for 46 as the Patriots steal a game from the Jets, a game they really had no business winning. The Jets could have shut the door on the Patriots, but they let them hang around. They let them get a touchdown in the fourth quarter. They put them up for good.
All I can say is this. Robert Saleh wasn't completely the problem. Because what have they done ever since he was fired?
Lost.
Yeah. Look, there's no more room for the Jets to make improvements or try to bolster up this roster because they've done it. They switched offensive coordinators. You have the interim head coach and Jeff Ulbrich. Defensively,
traded for Devontae Adams. They bring in Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, which wasn't necessary because what do you always say about the Jets getting Devontae Adams?
Putting Band-Aid on a gunshot wound.
No, it's like fixing your floor when your ceiling is leaking.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Hassan Reddick finally put the contractual disagreements behind him.
I'm not sure he even played in this game. He doesn't have a single
stat.
He doesn't have a tackle. He doesn't have literally nothing. It's literally like he didn't. We might as well have not played.
So he was just there keeping the cue. But anyway,
he was just getting cardio, as TJ likes to say.
I like how New England responded because Gerard Mayo called them soft, and I'm glad he did that because that lit a fire under them. But other than that, the Jets. Someone told me the Jets were going to win 6 in a row. And it started in Pittsburgh. They lost that one, and they lost this one. So they're gonna hear from me what they don't know.
See, hey Miami, you see how the Patriots had that adequate backup. They started when he got hurt.
It's crazy, man.
They had faith in the backup to keep come in and do what backups do. Yeah, that's how that works. There's absolutely nothing to be said about the Jets. Like, I don't know what can I don't know what can you say. Like, there's no positive spin that you can put on this thing to be like
a good defense.
Which, truth be told, let's be honest. I mean, is it still that good? Like, are we sure?
Yeah, no, they is. They top 5. Them actually, David, I did some fact checking. Miami's top 7 in yards per game, and top 10 in points as well. So, anyways, the Jets are also top 10, top 5 actually in yards per game as well. So, yeah, they should be playing better than this, especially against the Patriots and a rookie quarterback. But hey, that offense, when they can't sustain drives, you out there, a dam's gonna crack at one point when that defense is tired, like you said, like we always say.
Yeah, because the defense has been shouldering a lot of the responsibility and holding a lot of the weight. I mean, the Jets still have this notion, Izzy. And look, you watched Aaron Rodgers a lot all those years, and I'm just going to say it. He doesn't scare me like he used to back in Green Bay. I want him to throw the ball over the top, over 35 times a game. I wouldn't say this back in his prime, but now the Jets still have that notion that they think he can win games with his arm. And he's not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy, pal.
Christian, you said it best. Robert Saleh ain't there no more, so who you gonna blame?
Yeah, exactly.
Swinging from that matchup, let's swing into the NFC South, where the Atlanta Falcons get a big victory to kind of put a real stranglehold on the NFC South. They're now 5-3, and they have the tiebreaker with Tampa Bay. Because they won both of their matchups, 31-26 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kirk Cousins 4 tutties in this game. Bijan Robinson 13 carries for 63 yards. Kyle Pitts on National Tight Ends Day got 2 touchdowns. Darnell Mooney got a touchdown. Bijan Robinson got a touchdown. On the other side, a very mixed day from Baker Mayfield. Not only did he throw the ball 50 times in this game, he threw 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They did run for 100 yards in this game. Cade Otton on National Tight Ends Day had 2 touchdowns. Rashad White had a receiving touchdown as well, as they are trying to pick up the pieces now that they've lost their 2 best receivers, 2 best players really on this offense. But they fall 31-26 at the hands of the Falcons.
There was a controversy.
Come into your trap. Take over your trap.
That was a controversy in this one too.
Yeah, there was a controversial play in this one. That should not have been a touchdown.
That wasn't a touchdown.
I'm sorry, but Atlanta, this was a game they needed to win. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin for Tampa Bay. Atlanta looks good right now. I mean, they're doing it defensively. Kirk Cousins, he just looks like he's having fun. He's reciting rap lyrics. He's buying baggy ass jeans from Kohl's. And I'm thinking about never mind. I don't want to go to Atlanta. I'm good.
Kirk Cousins becomes the first Falcons quarterback to throw for 8 touchdowns against the same opponent in the same season.
Kirkwood Cousins.
Wow.
which is crazy considering Matt Ryan was there for as long as he was and saw the same opponent. You mean to tell me Matt Ryan never threw for 4 touchdowns in both divisional opponents, in both divisional games against the Panthers, against the Saints, or against the Buccaneers? Matt Ryan never did that in the same season.
TJ, remember, he played in the tougher NFC South. Those Saints teams were breeze. They had tougher defenses.
They did.
Tampa.
I mean, those Carolina teams, they had Cam Newton at the
Yeah,
time.
Cam,
Those Carolina
yeah.
Panthers defenses was fantastic back then.
Stingy,
We
so
were talking about the Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis.
Davis, yeah.
Yeah.
So like for what it's worth, if you're at Tampa Bay, like no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, this was still a 5-point game. Like I understand, like we hate playing the moral victory card, but when you ain't, I'm a lot less afraid of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when Mike Evans ain't outside. And
Chris Godwin's not lining up in the slot too.
I'm a lot less afraid of y'all when that happens, and then I'm really not worried about it if you're not going to run the ball like you should have. Like, bro, Rashad White and Bucky Irvin should have had 50 carries between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're down your number 1 and 2 wide receivers. I mean, they did get down by a considerable amount in this game. I mean, it was 31-17 by halftime. But that's halftime. That's not 31-17. Yeah, I know.
At the end of the third, that's 31-17 coming into, like, that's still a lot of time to get back.
I mean, this game was 24-17 at halftime, and then it was 31-17 at the end of the third quarter. I mean, you didn't have to abandon your running game, and it was effective. I mean, they had 4.6 yards per carry in this game for Tampa Bay.
Like, this notion of we're down 31-17. What's that? 3 scores? Is that 3? Yeah, that's 3. Yeah, that's 3 scores. It's all right. Let's forget the run. We got to come out gunning. Like, man, don't do that next game.
Moving on to swinging into the Green Bay Packers, going into Duval County and kicking a game-winning at the horn field goal 2 weeks in a row, 2 AFC South opponents back-to-back as they basically just escape from the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can make the argument, and Jordan Love doesn't get hurt. They may not win this game. Yes, he didn't look that good in the first quarter or whatever it was that he was in.
Is he able to put the parlay in?
Malik Willis comes in 4-5, 156 yards and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs had 2 rushing touchdowns. Tucker Kraft on National Tight End Day also had a touchdown. On the Jaguar side, Trevor Lawrence, 21-32, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Trevor Lawrence also had a rushing touchdown. Brian Thomas had a touchdown, and so did Evan Ingram. And that Evan Ingram touchdown is nice.
That was nice.
Basically over 3 defenders, also on National Tight Ends Day.
The only thing better than that touchdown was the play that the Packers ran, like literally the next ensuing drive to basically seal the game. First off, shout out to Christian Kirk, broken collarbone. I think you're done for the season, my boy. That's a tough loss for the Jags.
Yep, done for the remainder of the season. Reported by Ian Rappaport, just won yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. Well, I mean, like, you don't even need to break that news, bro. Like, you can tell based off certain injuries that, hey, yeah, you're done. Like, you broken collarbone at week 8, yeah, bro, you done. You done. That's. But tough.
I mean, this is the second week in a row where the Green Bay Packers do just enough to win this game. I mean,
that's all you need.
CJ Stroud had one of his worst performances as a pro. You beat them. You have your backup quarterback and Malik Willis come in and kind of save the day.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Packers continue to win games. It's like
that's exactly. You find ways to win football games in the National Football League. Ain't that right, Christian?
Yeah,
ain't that right? You find ways. It's not always going to be pretty.
Some teams find ways to lose games.
Wait, we'll talk about that later. But hold on. Let me tell you the identity of this team, and I always knew what the identity of this team was before the season. It's running the football and playing off the run. right? Josh Jacobs, 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. He looked like an absolute man-child out there
I want to
against
say,
the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I want to
Is
say,
he- that's it. Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead.
I want to say this, and TJ knows exactly where I'm going with this. There's a Raider fan that we both know very, very well, and he said Josh Jacobs was trash.
He did.
And I look, one team's trash is another team's treasure.
Absolutely.
But Izzy said it best. You know, we said this on College Football Showdown on Friday. You find ways to win football games. It wasn't pretty. You know,
Miami been doing it all year.
Yeah, they really have.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Friday. The Hurricanes been doing it all year. Okay. Anyway, hey, and I want to say this. Look, top 5 in rushing. They were to start the year. They were top 2 in rushing. Still top 5 unit in rushing. They run the ball very well. They're a physical team. That continues to be what their identity is. And if Jordan Love still has some, if he has some time to miss, I'm not scared that we can throw Malik Willis in there and he'll still perform. He was 4-5 in that last drive. He made a hell of a throw to get us down there. And I'm just glad we have a veteran kicker that can kick the damn football when it matters in clutch situations. Because we know Brandon McManus has a leg. He has a cannon for a leg on him. And he's like a veteran kicker with ice in his veins. And so when you play decent defense, hey, look, let me tell you something. Defense I wasn't impressed second half for that defense. Okay, he gave up some big plays, but in the end, like you say, you always come out with a win when it's a team game. When you all play together and you play your part, you come out with a victory, baby. And I'm taking it. Any given Sunday, baby.
Moving into the late afternoon window. I guess this is actually still technically the early afternoon window. The Houston Texans survive the Indianapolis Colts 23-20. But people aren't really talking about the actual game on the field. They're kind of talking about the actions of Anthony Richardson as he kind of left this game for one play, saying he was tired, which is a really strange thing to say when you're 21 years old. But Anthony Richardson, 10 of 32 through the air for 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jonathan Taylor returned from his injury, goes over the century mark, also had a touchdown. Joshua Downs had a really nice 69-yard touchdown. As Anthony Richardson knows how to throw them bombs, that's for damn sure. On the other side, C.J. Stroud bounces back after an abysmal performance against the Green Bay Packers the week prior. 25 of 37, 285 yards and a touchdown. Joe Mixon continues to be a revelation for the Houston Texans. 25 for 102 and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs left this game early with a non-contact injury. They have not said what the injury is, but he was a
ACL. From what I heard, it's a torn ACL.
It sort of looked like a torn ACL, but they haven't announced what the injury is.
Look, that's
and Tank Dell caught the lone receiving touchdown for
Sorry to interrupt you, David, but yeah, that's what Adam Schefter was reporting today.
Okay. Well, I looked at his player page. It doesn't have that.
Yeah,
probably ain't updated.
This is about Anthony Richardson. And TJ and I have been talking about this all day. You can't come out and say that. Plain and simple, especially with you being a quarterback. But this also shows me that the Colts don't have that voice in the locker room to pull him aside and say, look, there are certain things you say and there's certain things you don't say as a professional. Could you imagine him being on those Baltimore teams with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed saying something like this?
Probably would be alive now.
I mean, yeah, like you're somewhere in there. You got to be like, hey, maybe I should just make something up. Like, you know, I had something going on. Like I just couldn't.
I had turf in my eye. I had
literally any. Like you can't say you're tired. You're 21 years old. You're supposed to be the future of the franchise. You can't.
Also this. You're magically not tired after sitting out one play.
Yeah,
not a drive.
Like what?
Not a drive. Not multiple plays.
He's 22. I apologize, Anthony Richardson.
Whatever.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
The point still the same. The point,
yeah,
bro. When that meme I sent y'all in the group chat calling him the Daniel Jones of the Cam Newtons, it's more evident. It's like, bro, like, it makes so much sense of that style of quarterback. Like he is like. Bro, you are arguably the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, the pick he threw in this game was terrible. Jalen Petrie, that pick, like he will not have an easier interception this season.
Like your saving grace, Anthony Richardson, is that the QB situation in Tennessee is worse. That's literally it. Like that's it. Like dead ass. Like your saving grace is that the quarterback room in Tennessee. They're worse than you. And when Shane Steichen comes out and says we're evaluating everything, bro, that includes your damn job. Like you can't say what you say. Like, bro, your stat line at one point was 2 for 15. I'm exaggerating, and 81 yards passing. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty damn bad.
I mean, you finished with your 10 of 30, whatever.
10
I mean,
of
that's
32.
I mean, if it wasn't for that long bomb to Joshua Downs, we're talking you having like 90 yards passing in this game on 37 pass attempts, plus one of the worst picks. Like he just throws, he makes bad decisions with the football. He just doesn't. He's not getting it done in the NFL level for sure.
But that's the issue that's the issue that we were saying when he was coming out of college, bro. Like you didn't complete 50% passing in college.
And you may have all the intangibles in the world, but like intangibles will only take you so far. Like he's got the throw of the arm, the skill set, the body. His highlight, his warm ups going viral because he over there throwing jumping one leg passes 60 yards. And what did I say? When are you going to do that in the game? Never.
Are you ever going to throw that type of pass in the game? So why are you like look at this cannon on Anthony? Yeah, let me know he throws a one-legged jump pass 60 yards with shoulder pads and defenders draping them. Like the Colts got some decisions to make, and I wouldn't blame them one bit if they use that first round pick on the quarterback. I wouldn't blame them.
Moving on to the late afternoon window, the Chargers beat down the New Orleans Saints 26-8. Spencer Rattler 12 of 24. Jake Heener also played in this game. Alvin Kamara 10 of 67. Chris Olave 8 for 107. Justin Herbert 20 of 32. 2 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins continues his renaissance as he gets into the end zone. And Ladd McConkey, I think he had his first 100-yard receiving game of his NFL career, and I think he got his first 2 touchdowns as a member in the National Football League.
This is touchdown. These are if he scored 2 this game.
Yeah,
these are touchdowns 2 and 3.
Oh, my bad. But also we got that super dirty tackle on Justin Herbert in this game as the Chargers just beat down New Orleans, and there's nothing really to talk about when it comes. But that was dirty. Like that might have been the dirtiest play I've seen in a hot minute.
I am Bradley Bozeman, and Bradley Bozeman is me because I would do the same thing. And if you're not riding and going to war for your quarterback like he did there, then I don't want you as a
Why are you here?
Plain and simple. Look, I don't mind.
I don't think it needs to be summed up.
Listen, I don't mind.
Got to be fired, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna happen. The Saints don't really fire people in the middle of
We gotta. I wish teams would get rid of that mindset. Like it's because it's a bunch of teams that do that. Like now, like it's respect. Is it respectful? Yeah. Like is it like to let a coach finish out the season and then fire him at the end? Is it respectful? Yeah, but sometimes like you just gotta say F it, man. You gotta go. You gotta go now. I'm not.
Dennis Allen should, because the New Orleans Saints only gave him this job because Sean Payton retired like right before the season. Dennis Allen was the defensive coordinator at the time. They gave him the job because it was convenient to not have to search for somebody. Right. And he's been there for 3 seasons. They've gotten worse every season he's been the head coach of this team. They should never have brought him back this year. Like it doesn't make any sense why they didn't look somewhere else. Like especially if you're going to try to actually compete. Yeah.
And they messed up on 2 fronts: keeping Dennis Allen and not keeping Jameis. Like they messed up on 2 fronts. Like you keep.
I mean, you could never have predicted Derek Carr was going to get hurt, at least at this particular season. But
like no, but what I'm saying is like you didn't have to go get Derek Carr if you just kept Jameis. That's what I'm saying.
yeah. But I don't think anything else is really said. Let's move on.
Oh, fire Dennis Allen.
Fire Dennis Allen. I'm on that bandwagon. The Buffalo Bills circled the wagons through Seattle and beat them down 31-10. Josh Allen 2 touchdowns. He threw his first interception of the season. James Cook returned from injury, go over the century mark and 2 touchdowns. Keon Coleman had one of the nicest touchdowns you'll see this season, as he just basically mossed that defensive back. And Dalton Kincaid on tight ends day got into the end zone. On the other side,
that was Tariq Woolen. He most.
Yeah. Geno Smith, he just had an interception. Not a good day for Geno Smith in the office at all. And that, like, the Seattle just didn't run the football. 12 carries for your 2 running backs combined. Just head scratching stuff out of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
They get beat down.
Yeah, look, Buffalo beat them so bad, Seattle players were fighting each other.
Man, that's what I was like, bro. Like that, I got that notification. I'm like, bro, that is just pure frustration. It's like, and we've all seen it, bro. Like it is not uncommon for teammates to fight each other. Like real talk, I really wish they wouldn't make it as big of a deal as they tend to make it. Like I said, like, bro, like no DK for Seattle this game. What were we really anticipating here? Then on top of that,
especially like, if you don't have your best offensive player run the football.
And Gary, that was my next point. And then like you come into this game knowing you are down a major handicap, and that handicap just so happens to be 6'4", 200 and something pounds of just solid muscle. And David said not too many people can do what DK Metcalf can do, and you know that you're not going to have that coming into this game, and you just decided, oh, I'm just going to run the ball 12 times.
I mean, your strength in this game should have been your offensive line and your running game.
Like,
you have 2 really good running backs, and you just choose not to.
I said it in the group chat and during an audio clip. 1 + 1 will always equal 2. It will never equal 3. And I said, and all that's just a fancy way of saying, stop making difficult shit easy. I mean, stop making easy shit difficult. Like, run the ball. Like you don't have DK. You have Tyler Lockett, who's very solid, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's solid, but they ain't DK. And then Buffalo DBs knew that. It's like, oh, it ain't an easy day at the office, but it's gonna be a good day at the office.
I'll say this: Buffalo was 6-2. They've won 6 games by themselves. Everybody else in the AFC East has 6 wins combined. So show you.
To the next blowout in the late afternoon window, and the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix hang up 28 points on the Carolina Panthers as they win 28-14. But this game was not as close as that final score. Bryce Young got the start after Andy Dalton was involved in a car accident with his family a couple days before the game. Hopefully he's going to be okay. But yeah, Bryce Young, 24-37, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Chuba Hubbard, 15 for 56. Jalen Cocker, yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. Coker, whatever. 4 for 78 and a touchdown. Xavier Legit, 4 for 34 and a touchdown.
I like
Bo
that.
Nix, 28-37, 3 touchdowns. He also had a rushing touchdown in this game. Cortland Sutton went over the century mark. Adam Troutman had a touchdown on National Tight Ends Day. Jalen McLaughlin had a touchdown. And who else had a touchdown? Nate Atkins, who I have no idea who that is. Also had
Free Chuba.
Free Chuba. Free Chuba. You know who needs to be calling Chuba Hubbard? The team we gonna talk about at the end. Them Cowboys.
No,
they need to be calling Carolina. We'll give you a 5th round pick for Chuba Hubbard now.
I said it in the group chat.
I don't think that'd be enough to get him, but
you don't think so? 3rd rounder?
Hey,
I mean, yeah, 30. You thought you said a 6th rounder.
No, I said a 5th rounder. 5th rounder.
I don't think that'd be enough.
That'd be enough if you're Carolina, bro. Like, hey, first off,
because you gotta think
you need all the draft compensation you can get, bro. Like,
you gotta think every other team.
I would
Chuba
rather have Chuba Hubbard. This is how much this game does not matter. We're talking about trading Chuba Hubbard away more than the action
Yes.
on the
no,
actual. If I'm the Carolina Panthers, I think Chuba Hubbard is more valuable than a 5th round pick. Like I could still use Chuba.
You think
Hubbard
a third? You think like a 4th rounder? Maybe let's be in the middle, David. 4th rounder.
Give me a third round pick for Chuba Hubbard.
The Dallas Cowboys is the only team that I could think of that's on the fringe of possibly could still save their season.
No, they can't. But anyway.
No, but I'm saying that's the only team that makes sense to me. What other team? Well, maybe the San Francisco 49ers, because if they anticipate that Christian McCaffrey is not going to come back.
They have Isaiah Gore. They don't need him.
That's what I'm saying. When I look at every other playoff team, they don't really. But when I start looking at French teams, I say Dallas Cowboys.
This game was obviously like it's two things. It's two things. One, the J.C. Horn confronting Sean Payton, talking about some you running up the score. Like, brother, it was 28-14.
Yeah, I think they ran a fake.
I mean,
they ran a fake field goal up 21 points. No,
so what?
I mean, that's kind of bushly, but I mean, you might as well test out these plays when you're up by 20.
And I said, you know why he took? I think you know why he took offense to it because his dad is Joe Horn, so used to be Sean Payton used to coach Joe Horn. My thing is not. I told TJ earlier. I said, well, low key, I would low key say, well, you still out there, you still pro, you need to stop it. You still stop it, but at the same time, it's like, why the fuck are we doing fake field goal plays up 21 points in the 4th quarter?
You play the same 60 minutes that the Broncos played, and the other thing I wanted to get into was Bo Nix. Bo Nix got to start getting the same love that Jaden Daniels is getting.
He looking real good.
But
he also plays for a top 5 defense.
Don't get that.
Too. That defense really is just.
But what are we saying if he has that top 5 defense and he ain't producing? What are we saying? Like we got to keep it a buck. We got to call a spade a spade.
I think the thing is with Bo Nix though, he has he's pretty inconsistent. Like he has games where he just doesn't. He hasn't had like the Jaden Daniels moments yet. Like they're not asking Bo Nix to win them games. Is the difference?
Yeah,
he wins.
Well, I mean, he's one thing I will say is
he
that
is winning, but
he is taking off when he needs to. He's using those legs when he needs to. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they ask him to like win you ball games though. They're saying, look, we're gonna run the football with Javonte Williams. We just need you to make a couple throws and give our defense a little bit of breathing room, and they'll get it done. I think that's the recipe for success for this.
Moving on from there, let's talk about the AFC West. As the Kansas City Chiefs moved to 7-0 as they beat the Raiders 27-20. Patrick Mahomes, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Kareem Hunt got into pay dirt as well, and Travis Kelce got a touchdown on National Tight Ends Day. Xavier Worthy had a touchdown. Gardner Minshew, 24 of 30, his best game at least in a few weeks since before the benching. 24 of 30, 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm not even going to mention what they did with the running the football. They ran it 21 times for 33 yards for a grand total of 1.6 yards per clip.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Myers and DJ Turner caught the lone.
I like when we talk about the Raiders. We gotta let Christian just go off on him right quick, because
look,
I like Christian to have the platform, and then we're just gonna move on.
Listen, they're absolute pieces of monkey crap. Plain and simple. That's what they are. Because someone wants to hype them up every year. Oh yeah, they're this, they're that.
They got the nerve to talk shit about
Gardner Minshew is going to take us to the promised land. Okay, molester stash. And then you bring in
Hey, I love Gardner Minshew.
No. And it has the nerve to talk about everyone. Izzy is broken.
got the hey, bro. He be having the nerve to talk shit about Caleb Williams and
Oh hell no, son!
like, bro.
Other
You,
team quarterbacks. When
Hey,
he's
we got to bring him on the show.
no, you don't.
No, you
Because
don't.
none of us went back.
I love Gardner Minshew, and I
hey,
love his
on
mustache.
top of that, hey, here's the kicker: the guy that he said that was killing it for the Raiders last season, Josh Jacobs' replacement, Zamir White, 2 carries, -1 yard. Hey, he hey, but he was better
And
than
you
Josh
know what?
Jacobs last season.
Nah, hold on. Let me finish. I'm gonna close this rant out like this, and then I'm gonna
Get outta
just,
here, bro.
I'm just gonna drop my gavel. Brock Bowers is losing hair playing with the shredded.
Moving on to the most painful result of the entire freaking weekend. Chicago Bears go into the Commanders and drop a game they, first of all, had no business even being remotely in, and they had no business losing then after that. They lose 15-18 on the Hail Mary from hell of Caleb Williams, 10 of 24, 131 yards. DeAndre Swift had a rushing touchdown, so did Roshan Johnson. Roma Dunze, 3 for 41. Hayden Daniels,
Izzy, before you go,
21 of 38,
TJ, I want to say one
326
thing
yards
real
and a
quick,
touchdown.
before you say something, TJ.
And Noah Brown caught the Hail freaking Mary.
Look, I was prepared. Look, when it was 2 seconds left, I was prepared to come on this show today and say, "What you say, David? What you say, David? You said not to put no money on the freaking Bears. You
I was right. I was right, damn it.
And then the whole time they cast the damn ball. I'm like, damn, David was right. Don't put that much money on the Bears.
We saw two offenses regress in ways that we didn't think would happen, and that's the Bears and the Baltimore Ravens. Izzy, you brought that up earlier. Like, the receivers were dropping passes, they were not helping Lamar out in any way, shape, or form. This was worse. Like, these dudes had a week off, and you just come out the gate like that. Like, that was like, it's 2 losses done. It's 2 losses strictly on coaching so far this season, and I might be shortchanged, but it's for sure too. That Colts game and this game, play calling, Waldron. What made you call a fullback dive to not a fullback?
Listen,
with a backup center. That had tape on his thumbs. Like,
when I saw that, all I could say was, look, he was going to P. Diddy parties because his hands had baby oil on them.
No. Hold on. You run that play. Like, you try to, like, I don't know what you were thinking. You were trying to, like, okay, if we make this play, oh, look, I'm so creative. I'm Shane Waldron. Ha, 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 ha. Bro, what are you doing? You run that play up 28 points when you're trying to stick it to somebody. Like, you don't run it when you need the touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown. Like, what are you doing? And then you ran a fade play on that first play of the second time you were down there at the 1 yard line. And that could have been disastrous too, TJ.
Which, in my opinion, like, I actually don't mind though, because, like, hey, that's DJ Moore. That's DJ Moore versus that DB. I like my chances. Like, if I'm Caleb Williams, I just got to throw that ball a lot sooner than what he did.
But when you run it, if you run it and you don't get it, then you kind of Washington has to burn a timeout.
Right, but at the same time, again, 1 + 1 = 2. Run the ball 4 times if you got to. That's what you got Roshan Johnson for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top, and then obviously what everybody's talking about, everybody ain't talking about the Hail Mary. They talking about the play before that. Where the hell were you?
Why were you so off? Like, what was the, like?
What's even worse?
It allowed the Commanders to get some yardage and then was able to stop the clock.
What's even worse is Flus. Was Matt Eberflus saying those 14 yards didn't matter? Like, bro, that's even worse.
That should
a coach not taking accountability.
Because those 14 more yards, because Jaden Daniels didn't even make it to the end zone. Like, he would not have been able to get it to the end zone if
all that told me was, and hey, you saying those 14 yards don't matter. If I'm Ryan Poles, hey, Matt, thank you for your service. Hey, yeah, you're done. If you as a head coach can't deduce that those 14 yards was the difference in that Hail Mary being completed, you're done.
And then let's talk
Forget
about the
the
elephant
holding.
in the room.
Forget
Tyreek Stevenson.
Let's talk about Tyreek Stevenson.
Forget the holding. Forget the holding call on the Hail Mary, because like that's an issue. That's a separate issue in itself. This notion of they're not going to call that in that situation. One, why the hell not? Stop it. Like justifying them not calling that is the problem. Like, situations should not matter. If that's a penalty in the first 5 minutes, it's a penalty in the last.
There's a whole lot of wrong on that last play, TJ.
Before we move on to the next game, let's talk about Tyreek Stevenson. So he had a bad unsportsmanlike conduct call earlier in the game, and then obviously the last play where he was taunting the fans on the sideline while the play was live.
20 yards away from.
He's one of the building block pieces on this defense. He had a really solid rookie season. What do you do with it? What do you do? You need him to keep his
I understand what you're saying. Like, you don't kick a man while he's down, but like, bro, you ain't a rookie making that mistake.
Yeah, I know. You a second year player. I think
you're not
you
a
have to do late. I think the players. Because I think DJ Moore came out and said, "Man, look, as captain,
I think that's what
a team meeting with just players only, and we have to address the elephant in the room. We got to be more mature. Like, a lot of the young dudes on the team are not playing in a mature sense. And like, look, like I said, like Tyreek Stevenson was a lot. I mean, we can blame a lot, but when it comes down to it, it comes down to coaching. You don't have your best pass rusher out there. You rush four.
You rush three.
No, they rushed four, but they kept one as a spy. Why the hell are you keeping him as a spy for?
Well, he's spying on the hill.
I think it'd be beneficial if Jaden Daniels ran the football there instead of getting an opportunity to throw the football there.
So he wasn't going to run for 50 yards. Like, come on.
So why do you keep a spy? Why? What is the problem? Why are you spying?
And then to make matters worse, Tyreek Stevenson, like, you're the guy taunting. You're supposed to be the guy blocking out Noah Brown. That was your guy.
We don't know if it was him.
The worst part is, like, he's the one taunting, the one that hit the ball in the air.
You're the one taunting. You're the one that hit the ball in the air, and your guy was the guy that caught it. Because they had two dudes on Terry McLaurin. Jalen Johnson was one of the two dudes, right? That makes sense. My best DB, your best receiver, Terry McLaurin. I don't give a damn. You are not catching the ball. I'm doing everything in my power to make sure you don't catch the ball. Everybody else, it was supposed to be a body on the body, and the one guy who won body on body, that's the guy who caught the ball. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple.
Christian, you want to weigh in real quick?
Quick, Christian, before you go, like, this notion, the other conversation that's starting to annoy me is, well, this game makes it clear Jaden Daniels is better than Caleb. No, it doesn't.
I mean, neither of them were really all that good in this game.
Neither of them were really.
I will say this: Caleb Williams in the fourth quarter, because they did talk about with Justin Fields. They talked about it also. We needed a quarterback to finish games in the fourth, not just the first three quarters. And Caleb Williams in that fourth quarter made throw after throw, impressive throws. He doubled more than what his output was the first three quarters, just in the fourth quarter. So I like seeing that. I like that. But I think both. I think when you talk about it, I think the Washington Commanders.
Still hard to say.
The Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders. I mean, that offense was struggling against that defense in the second half. Especially like midway third to the fourth, all the way into the fourth. It was like they were getting them out of there. Defense played well to win the game, and it's just like you have to come out and you have to, as well as you played in the last quarter and a half where you have momentum, you have to finish these football games. You got to finish the game. And when you go on the road, I'm not saying that Washington is a great team. We'll see how great they are and when they start playing their division. I think they only played one divisional game so far.
Yes,
but. They played one divisional game so far. Against the Giants. So they got 5 more. Once they start playing Philly and Dallas, we'll see how good they are. But right now, Washington is a playoff team. They're second in the NFC right now. This is a big game for your football team. You have to finish that game out. It was just a bunch of flawed things on that last play. That that is a less than 1% chance that they convert that play.
Bro, Christian, real quick, because we got to move on.
All I know is I'm glad Tyreek Stevenson ain't my son, and I think I say that every year on this damn show. I really,
About somebody.
I'm glad he ain't my
Jesus.
son.
Jesus.
Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we got the Dallas Cowboys going into Levi's Stadium and leaving with the tail between their legs as San Francisco scored 21 points in the third quarter. At one point in this game, San Francisco had more points than the Cowboys had yards in the third quarter. They win 30-24. Dak Prescott, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Ezekiel Elliott got a touchdown in this game. CeeDee Lamb had 2 touchdowns, kind of both of them kind of in garbage time. But they will not be easier touchdowns than those ones that CeeDee Lamb had in that fourth quarter. On the other side, San Francisco, Brock Purdy bounced back after what was an abysmal performance against the Kansas City Chiefs the week prior. Isaiah Guerrero got his first NFL touchdown in this game as he relieved Jordan Mason, who got banged up at halftime and did not return. Brock Purdy also had a rushing touchdown that I don't think was actually a touchdown. And then George Kittle caught the lone receiving touchdown on National Tight Ends Day. So kudos to George freaking Kittle.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
San Francisco. They should have put this game away even more in the fourth quarter. They let teams hang around a little too much. I mean, injury bug or not, one thing I noticed was they just looked flat. There was no urgency, especially in the first half. Just guys standing around. Dallas is finishing plays, but yeah, they got it together in the third quarter and then almost let their foot off the gas a little bit in the fourth quarter. In Dallas, they got to get back to the drawing board. They need something because what is their identity as a football team?
Man,
They can't run the
real talk, man. They low key might be worse than the Jets, and that in terms of like the lack of identity thing, like yeah, Izzy, I'm with you, like, brother. They gotta get some life in that running back room.
Yeah,
respect for Zeke, respect for Dalvin Cook, but bruh, what are we
they had
doing?
Chuba Hubbard on that team. If they had Chuba Hubbard on that team, three down back,
Like, bro, like, and we can say that, like, we don't know if that, we can say that, like, we don't know if it'll be better, but we can't say this. It can't be no goddamn worse. Like,
yeah, Jerry need to be on the phone now.
If you're trying to salvage this season, if you're like, hey, we'll give you a 4th round pick for Chuba Hubbard, that would be a valuable. Like, but this offensive line also hasn't played well at all. So I'm not sure that even if they were to add a Chuba Hubbard or a running back of that caliber, that type, if it would even matter, because their offensive line hasn't been remotely good.
It ain't just him. It's like Chuba Hubbard is getting.
And they had 8. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers had 8 quarterback hits in this game. They gave up 2 sacks on top of that. They had tackles for loss. 3 tackles for loss where they got tackled in the backfield. I mean, like, this was a offensive line for the Cowboys that it just hasn't been good.
As much as we can talk bad about the Cowboys, I got some negative stuff to say about the Niners, because when you up 17, you can't, like, Kyle Shanahan needs to start putting his foot on the gas pedal.
It's something about him in big leads, bro.
Yeah, because it's just like this team this season has given up some big leads. They've lost some games they probably shouldn't have lost. This is another one that they almost lost. You have to continue to put your foot on the gas pedal, because once you start being complacent, I can see this team. Once they start being complacent, they start being they lack aggressiveness. I mean, the first half they came out pussyfooting, and then the second half they came out. The third quarter they came out aggressive, but they have to remain aggressive all 4 quarters, because look, you don't have Brandon Ayuk anymore.
You haven't had
McCaffrey, and so this team has to remain aggressive all 4. I don't care if you running up the score. Look, Detroit don't care. They scored 52 points. You know what I mean? So if you're San Francisco, like in that fourth quarter, like you're up 17, I would have continued to throw the football to Kittle. I would have continued to throw the football to Deebo Samuel. I wouldn't have just handed the ball off to Isaac Guerrero for 3 carries, or trying to run a stupid screenplay or some dumb plays like that. You need to remain aggressive.
And Shanahan used to beat, like, how Detroit doing mugs now. Shanahan used to do that. He used to
He
beat
did that when he was in Atlanta. They used to run up the score like crazy.
Yeah.
They used to
Uh,
straight blitzkrieg. Hey, they used to straight blitzkrieg us. Hey, the one thing that I will say that kind of ruined this game for me, Nick Bosa, not the time and place for that. Not the time and place. And y'all may not know what I'm talking about. He pops up in Brock Purdy's post game interview wearing a MAGA hat. Like, bro, not the time and place for that. Not the time and place for that.
Christian, sorry.
Yeah. Is this the game that could jumpstart San Francisco? Yeah.
Wait. Think about what you just asked, bro. You asked, is a game against the Cowboys?
But no, you're missing what I'm saying, CJ. They have not looked as dominant as we've seen them look, and it's because of the injuries. But sometimes you always say, just look, let them get one and see where they go from here.
Who they got?
Because we saw this last. Actually, seen this last 2 years.
Yeah.
Where San Francisco actually had a 4-4 record at this time, or 4-3 record last season at the same time, and then they ran the table after a big win, where they won 10 straight in a row on the way out to the Super Bowl. And yes, so Christian makes a good point. This could be a jumping off point, like where they finish a game. Like this is a game. Like you look at the other 2 games that they lost this season against the Rams and the Cardinals. They had big leads in both of those 2 games, and they let it slip away. So San Francisco in this game, San Francisco made the stop they needed to get. They stopped them on 4th down. They stopped. They got
and
Dallas
they were helped by the Izzy pointed out in the group chat, like, bro, like you got momentum, and those are the 3 calls. Those are your 3 play calls. If
Devontae Turpin doesn't drop that perfectly thrown pass from Dak Prescott, we're having a totally different conversation right now.
But that's not his game, though.
But
I know, but we gotta catch that.
You know, I know. If you can catch it, you can catch it. But like when I look at like the KY,
I love how that mindset has like just still been has been around for forever. Hey, you can get a handle, you can catch it. But
yeah, no, but like Devontae Turpin's what 5 foot. Well, he's like 5'9", 5 foot nothing. You threw the ball a little bit over his head. You're expecting a kick returner to catch a. That's like Devin Hester trying to catch.
Anyways, Christian, you want to finish your point before we wrap up here?
I got nothing else.
No, Christian, what I was saying, like I wasn't saying it like on the Niners standpoint of like a game against the Cow. I'm more so saying it on the Cowboys front, like bro, like y'all are somebody's tune-up game. Like
that's embarrassing.
Like Dallas, you are somebody's tune-up game. Think about that.
Embarrassing.
But yeah, that's been our Week 8 recap. Thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. I've been David Huppman. Right there, Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins, and from the DailyBlitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. Tomorrow, we're going to be breaking down Monday Night Football, and we're going to give you our preview and predictions for week number 9. You don't want to miss any of that content, so please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat, baby.
Yes, sir.
Free Cuba Hubbard, baby.
We'll be back here tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. Peace out, gentlemen.